Uh,
Uh,
wow.
so how about that Final Fantasy? No, okay.
Actually, I did have one thought of Catherine before we wanted to go on.
Sure, go for it.
Before we had to, like, end the episode and whatever.
It was an abrupt cutoff. It's okay.
Yeah.
We know.
So here's the thing. So it's a puzzle game.
Yeah.
So it's one of those puzzle games where if you haven't played in a long time, you legitimately forget everything.
Oh, good.
And so when you're scaling the walls, because they're puzzles, and you have to like track your path up and across. Oh, hey, Calendar Man.
The actual
Uh,
enemy of this game.
all along. Um, so I hadn't played it in a couple months because like busyness,
Yeah.
and then I went back to it, and I was like, well, more than halfway through the game. It's
Hmm.
like, oh god, how do I do this again? Oh god, oh god. What am I doing again?
How to be playing game.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, man, it's a good game, but the bosses, man, the
I mean,
bosses.
that's how a lot of what's that, Dark Souls functions too.
No, it's not just hard. It's more like a, I'm sorry, what is coming after me now?
Yeah. I
Like, like one of them is a baby that literally yells "daddy." It's
oh boy.
very disconcerting. Very.
That's lovely.
Yeah. And then there's a second form of said baby that you face later, who I have affectionately called Mecha Baby.
Meh.
And then, my favorite, every time I tell this to people, you literally face a butt monster.
Natch. I mean,
A literal butt.
for that kind of game, yeah. Sure.
With hearts coming
Out of the end.
out of the nether region. I'm not quite sure if it's like a lady butt or a man butt.
Well, is it Harry?
I honestly I was too freaked out to really, because it makes like these orgasmic moans every now and then.
Oh, of course it does.
So I wanted nothing to do with that. It was more
Huh.
like a sudden, like, what is coming after me now? Oh my god, what is that? What is that? Dear God, why is it making that noise?
Get me away, get me away, get me away, get me away!
Yes.
Like driving away, like that scene in Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, yeah, pretty
Butts
much.
that appear in mirror may be larger than they appear.
Yeah. And I wanted none of it. So I wanted to peace out as soon as possible. It's a good
Uh,
game, don't get me wrong, but dear God.
it's 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 Japanese in all the best ways.
Yes. In all the best and worst ways? Because it's weird?
That's quote unquote worst there,
Yeah.
cause to a lot of people that still means best.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. The puzzles are fun, though. They're enjoyable, and the music is great.
yeah, I've I've
Which is
still
like
I
every
mean
Japanese game ever, where
I
the music
just
is amazing, but the game is fun.
I've never like I'm not really big on puzzle games, I guess. Which I'm sure will shock everyone who has been following this channel for any significant period of time, because they will know that I've spent so much time suffering the uh, weirdness of adventure games.
Well, I mean, it's I
I
mean,
know.
I guess it's considered a puzzle game, but
Well,
it's not.
I know there are
It,
different kinds of puzzles because it's like you wouldn't
it's
call Portal an adventure game.
no.
I
It's
like how he
like
landed there.
it's mainly like you see this area that you need to scale, and then you just need to figure it out
I
by
mean,
pushing blocks.
it's kind of like, well, I so this is probably actually not what it's like at all, but I always like every time I see gameplay of it, I feel like it's a more kind of it's like a weird Japanese version of Qbert.
Yeah. You forget it's a puzzle game because like scaling the thing is challenging
Yeah.
and it's interesting, but at the same time, I mean, because it's basically you're told to play a puzzle every now and then after watching an anime.
Yeah, yeah.
That's basically it.
An anime. It is
Yeah.
it is anime.
And then every now and then you have to go talk to people. It's like Persona, where you have to go
Yeah.
talk to people to make sure, get their story to make sure that they're okay, and then you figure out the story.
Except
And I
with
guess,
puzzles instead of dungeons.
yeah, and I guess Catherine is like an undeclared offshoot of Persona.
Well, it was published by Atlas, right?
Yeah, but I guess in one of the Persona games, I guess 4 or 3, one of the two, there is a character named Vincent, and you haven't seen him because he's always in his apartment or something like that, or hasn't been sleeping right. So there is like a loose connection between,
That feels like it would be Persona 3, I
yeah,
think.
or one of the Personas where there's like a loose connection between Catherine and Persona.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's fun. I
Yeah.
enjoy the game, but it's really fucking weird.
I mean, of course it is. That's 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 Japanese games in general.
Yeah.
You want to talk weird games, like, whoo boy. The only weirder you're gonna get is like looking through the really really cheap stuff that keeps overloading Steam.
Oh yeah. I think Catherine's one of the very few games where I literally just sat there with the controller in my hand with a very confused look on my face. Like, what just happened?
What am I looking at right now?
Yeah, the only other time that's ever happened was in Bayonetta
Yeah,
with the dance off.
yeah, I
And I
can.
remember just sitting there like after the cutscene I was still just like, what? What just happened?
I
Did I just watch a dance scene
I
for reasons?
I get that feel from a lot of Platinum games, actually, because that's the type of game that Platinum makes, and they're very good at that by this point.
Oh yeah. But they're good. They're great. They're just full of WTF.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's part of uh, hmm, uh,
Someone didn't think this through.
no. That's part of what makes Platinum games so like interesting to play, really, is that they're so weird and over the top. It's like you want to go scale God so that you can kill him. All right. We got that. You want to have a big like Robo Punch Out style punch up with a huge Mechazord on a like flowing lava river. Okay, we got that too. You wanna spend the first 20 minutes of the game literally slicing up a Metal Gear? All right, we got you covered. It's like that's Platinum.
Yeah, they're whimsy for the sake of being whimsy, and that's why I think they're great.
Yeah. I really wish Activision weren't such greedy bastards, because I would like to get Transformers Devastation, the new Platinum game that has just been released.
Oh,
That-
that's right. Yeah.
yeah, the hit the hit Transformers game that everyone is talking about. Published by Activision though, so it's $50. And
It could be worse. It could be 60.
it probably is on consoles. Actually,
I don't know.
it's $50 on Steam. It's probably 60 on PS4 and Xbox.
Probably. I haven't looked.
But
to be fair, we haven't really heard much dicketry from Activision in a while. It's been mainly Konami and EA for stills.
There was one Activision story recently that I can't remember now. Oh, no. Oh, well. Whatever.
Although I will say it's pretty funny now. And to be fair, I am not defending Activision here, but I just think it's funny now in retrospect when the whole Tim Schafer thing with Brutal Legend was in Activision's like, will you, for the love of God, meet a damn deadline?
Yeah.
And everyone was coming to his defense of like, hey, you leave him alone. He's, he did whatever, and he's just an indie. Don't push him around. And Bobby Kotick was like, no, we have deadlines.
Money.
No, he's like, we have deadlines.
Yeah.
He can't just do whatever he wants. And then now, all of a sudden, when he went to Kickstarter and started doing things, everyone just now realized that he can't do deadlines to save his ass.
So this is the maze that I looked at and got perplexed. Wow. Oh my god. I can't speak tonight. It's okay. Perplexed by in an earlier video, and it's still vexing me today. And like I blew up 2 mines, and now I'm there, but there's still no. I functionally don't know how to get through here without blowing up at least 3 mines. Like, it's probably possible, I don't know how to do it. So we're just gonna tank the hits. I'm just not sure if Transformers Devastation is worth $50 though.
I hear it's very good.
It looks good, and I've seen a bunch of gameplay of it, and it looks fine. It looks like a fun, fast-paced melee action game because that's what Platinum is good at. And I mean, I really enjoy the Transformers, and I appreciate that it's like classic Transformers as well. Naturally, I would only ever play as Optimus Prime because I am really boring like that. It's like with me and Transformers, it's Optimus Prime and Megatron all the way. I don't want to play anybody else.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fine. But I'm just still not, because it's a budget Platinum title. And it looks better than Korra, which was their last kind of budget B team game.
Which
also
didn't turn out well for them, but
yeah, it was a fine game, but it was not up to the Platinum standard. And Transformers looks like it's a bit closer, but I'm still not sure if it's $50 close. And
from what I understand, it's like what you expect.
Well, yeah, exactly. But and of course the other thing is the fact that it's an Activision published game means that it's going to be $50 for the next 3 years. Because Transformers War for Cybertron or Fall of Cybertron is still $50, I think. And that was released back in 2012. It's Activision. Oops. Have you seen the prices that the Call of Duty games still go for?
Oh yeah.
It's fantastic. I love it. It's every single time I see a Call of Duty sale on Steam, the first thing I think is, oh boy, it's still only 50 or 66% off. And then the second thing is oh boy, that means that the majority of them are still over $15.
But to be fair, they can get away with it. Because, to be fair, most people get Call of Duty when it comes out.
But that's
Because-
the sad part.
Because they want to play the multiplayer.
It's like they shouldn't be able to get away with it.
Yeah, but people eat that shit up.
Uh,
A lot of people, if they only
Yeah.
buy one game a year, it's Call of Duty.
Fortunately, that does seem like it's been changing a little bit over the past couple years. I mean, like, I'm not the type of person who says that Call of Duty is like ruining the gaming industry, because whatever. Like, I think the Call of Duty games are fine. But you can't look at the fact that like every single game sells over millions and millions of copies, despite like demonstrably not changing or actively changing for the worse. Like, you can't look at that and be like, you know, this isn't sad at all.
To be fair, their gameplay is solid.
Well, yeah, and that's why I say that the games are fine. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the mechanics are rock solid. The story, let's be honest, no one plays the games for the story.
some people do.
I know, but I don't know what they're doing with their lives.
They're playing military shooters for
For the
stories.
story. That's totally not worth $60.
Well, it's not, but it is.
I will say Black Ops had a great story.
Like, it's an enjoyable, like, Hollywood-esque romp. And if it weren't for the fact that like they're being sold for $60, you know, it'd be fine.
I mean, it's whatever. But then again, I'm the opinion that some games shouldn't be worth $60.
Well, no.
But they are, because that's the market.
A lot of AAA games should not be sold at $60, and it is incredibly damaging to the games and the industry that they continue to be sold at that price constantly, even when they're not worth it.
Well,
Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Oh, that's the Activision thing that I was thinking of, actually. Right. Oops.
as you run right into the water.
I thought he would jump. Look at that jump, see? I thought he could do that from the... No, whatever. Have you ever played... I mean, not... Sorry to completely cut off your thought. Oops.
Good job.
Sorry to completely cut off your thought before, but have you ever played any of the Tony Hawk's like Pro Skater games or anything?
No.
I did, actually. We had Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on the Nintendo 64, and then my grandparents had the same game but for the PlayStation, because I have an uncle who is only 4 years older than me, so he grew up with a lot of the same like games and systems that I did. Oops. How many more times are we gonna mess this up? There we go. I really liked Pro Skater 2 back in the day. Actually, it was like it was a really solid like sport game. Sports. And I really liked playing, you know, a bunch of the other Tony Hawk games. I had a couple other ones throughout the years. So have you heard or seen anything about Pro Skater 5?
I heard it was dog shit.
That's putting it kind of lightly. So I've not played the game myself. But based on what I've seen, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is basically around the same quality level as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. And I mean that in like every way, including graphics, which is the oddest part to me, because this is a game being released on like PS4 and Xbox One, and it legitimately looks like a PS2 game. Like, I'm the type of person who gets annoyed when people say, "Oh, this game looks like it was a PS2 game," but Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 looks like a PS2 game. And it's so disappointing. It's like, oh...
Who made the game?
I think it was, like, literally just made by some no-name developer. Like, it was not publicized at all from... Or, I guess it had a little bit of publicity because there were some people who were apparently, like, looking forward to it because it was like, oh, a new Tony Hawk game, like, after the franchise was brutally murdered and left dead for almost well, I guess like probably 7 years or so. I think they made a few on the PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah, there was one where they had that peripheral.
Yeah, this little skateboard.
Yeah.
I think that was actually the one that ended up killing the franchise.
I think so too. And Tony Hawk would not shut up about that stupid thing. I remember he just wouldn't shut up about it. Yeah, man, it's totally great. You could be organically making tricks and stuff. Well, too bad no one's gonna spend $200 or whatever it was on a stupid peripheral.
Yeah, they figured, we got all the success out of Guitar Hero, we can get that again with
Except
skateboarding.
Guitar Hero is great.
Well, but they managed to kill that too. Like,
well, that's because it was oversaturation.
Yeah, it was. Oops, it was the same thing with. Not exactly the same, but the same basic thing with the Tony Hawk games.
Well, I think Tony Hawk was more self-destructive.
Well, they were still releasing those like on a yearly basis at one point, and it was just like, wow, guys, slow down. Also, Riddler hostage. So this is Riddler room number 4, I think, because we didn't get to see the third one. So this should be fun.
What kept you? Did you get lost?
Yeah. Pro Skater 5.
No, I just think Guitar Hero was different because there was Guitar Hero and there was Rock Band and then there was that one by Ubisoft where you can actually learn guitar.
Oh yeah,
I heard that's actually a really good game.
Rocksmith or something like that?
Yeah, Rocksmith. And then there was another one. And there was like this weird battle between Rock Band and Guitar Hero of who had the better.
Yeah. I mean, because EA and Activision.
Yeah. So it was just like back and forth, back and forth.
Yep.
And so I think that was more different. There was just saturation more than anything else.
So,
and people fighting for space. Tony Hawk, I think he did that all by himself.
By the way, as it happens, Pro Skater 5 was apparently developed by a company called Robomoto.
Oh god, I know that name.
Supposedly with help from Disruptive Games, who do not even have a Wikipedia page. So that's a 2 thumbs up there. Robomoto apparently made the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions of Tony Hawk's Ride and Tony Hawk's Shred, which were 2009 and 2010, because they were doing yearly releases. And then they also made Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, which people really didn't like because it was pretty trash.
Mm-hmm.
And then apparently they also have made some really... They have Big League Sports Connect, Skateboard Slam, Hunger Games, Catching Fire Panem Run. That's all one title right there. Globber's Escape.
What?
Monster Flash. And the only other one that has a Wikipedia page, In Time, which leads to a Wikipedia page about a thriller film called In Time. Starring
Wow.
starring Justin Timberlake, Amanda Seyfried, and Cillian Murphy.
Oh God.
Is it Cillian Murphy or Cillian? I don't know. It's probably Cillian, right?
I think it's Killian.
Yeah. He was actually in Batman Begins. He was Scarecrow.
That's right, and he was in 28 Days Later.
I have not seen that.
That is a good film.
Cillian Murphy is a really sexy man. Just gonna put that out there.
Oh yeah.
Like, there aren't a lot of guys I would say that about, but he's one of them.
He is pretty suave looking.
More Cillian Murphy next time.